Hello, my Asian friends living in Asia or else any other part of the world. I am, as you know, your Asian friend living, residing, and literally thriving in South Asia. For this particular video, I will, of course, mention which country I am from within our continent and subcontinent South Asia. That is India, of course. And I'm damn sure, of course, all my Asian friends, and not just Asian friends, all the people from other continent, and especially people from a country named USA in Northern American continent might have already heard about the news where the changes have been made in the H1B visa, where some people are saying that overall every year a hefty amount of fee has to be paid to the US government so that the companies can bring in the skilled technical and healthcare workers from other countries to work in USA for US based companies, right? You might have heard about it, and some people from the government itself, which is in power right now in USA, they are sometimes they are saying no, it's a one-time fee. It's not for old people who have already got their visas issued. It's for new people. It's for this. It's for that. So no clarity in general, and this is what is happening and being done by the presidency and the entire team of one such country which always wants to hog the reputation of being the best and the number one in the world. This is what is happening right now. So all of y'all might have heard about the news and the impact it is going to make on immigrants who were working in USA on H1B visas. Many of y'all are peddling it to be a, you can say, problem for only Indian immigrants who were actually brought down by so many companies on cheaper rates in United States to work there to replace all the Americans who were literally charging more per hour to do the same job. That's what you guys are thinking. But there are so many nuances and so many other things which I will talk about. And let me first start talking to my, you can say, North American counterpart, and especially the people from the race of African American first, because it seems they have certain feelings about us Indians and South Asians or immigrants in general, about which they are not even realizing that there is something weird going on, not only amongst all the white supremacists who actually voted someone stupid like that, who can't even make a, you can say, good decision all at once. It's not just about them, it's about you too. So, and then once I've made a conversation with all my African American friends, then I will move on to talking to all my immigrants. It's not just about Indians, it's about anyone who is getting impacted by this H1B visa changes, which were slapped onto people randomly without even thinking about, you can say, human rights and so many other things which usually these Americans lecture the entire world and especially Asia about. So I will talk to you, but let me start talking to our African American friends first. My African American friends, usually I do not call upon you guys on this channel because this channel is dedicated to uniting and integrating all the Asians in our continent Asia and making them realize and remove their ignorance around the fact that how closer we are to each other culturally, emotionally, existentially in comparison to any other human counterpart in any other continent. So that is why I never ever felt the urge to call upon you guys specifically. But considering, and please, if at all you're thinking that my sniffling is annoying, please bear with me. Right now I am down with cold and cough, and I had fever last night. But because the changes which have been randomly made by your president, who is literally bonkers, and sometimes I'm confused whether he is that smart that we all of us are not able to figure out what he's up to, or else he is that dumb that we cannot even believe that there is someone who is sitting in power in a position in that country which have been believed to be one of the number one countries in the world. So I hope you're getting my point. So that confusion we are not able to figure out. So that is why this urged me, the situation which happened around the H1B visa changes and the fee changes we got to know about. This actually forced me enough, or maybe motivated me enough to talk to you guys, and not just you guys, my fellow immigrants, not just Indians, any other immigrant who's getting impacted by this random decision being made by your president. So I thought I should talk about it. So please, sorry, bear with me. And my African American friends, honestly, if you're thinking yet another Indian bitch telling us now what is something which we are doing wrong and how we should act, how dare she? You know why I'm being so daring? Because I am one of those Indians who, just like you, always felt in my soul that somewhere or the other when it comes to people and their behavior and their you can say the liking and disliking on the basis of skin color in those countries, not just your country but in the Western countries, somewhere or the other something is very dark and fishy hiding behind all this magical or shiny facade. So I am intuitive, so I always felt that in my soul. But unlike y'all, I have got a lived experience living in a religiously diverse country, culturally diverse country, but never the racially diverse country. So that is why I never ever had this courage to pinpoint that what exactly is wrong in those systems and those countries. So somewhere or the other, I too had so many issues with not just people of my country, but all the immigrants of all the races who immigrated to your country and acted weirdly. Not just I won't say supremacy or some, you can say, arrogance around you guys or any other one. You're getting my point. So I felt something is wrong, and that is why, believe me, in past I've got multiple chances to maybe move from my country and move to any of the Western nations, and your country too. But I never ever felt that desire and urge to do something about it. I could have come there for studies, or I could have come there for work, or maybe I could have applied for citizenship also. All those things I could have done in the past 2 decades, because at that time times were right, relationship was good, and even the economy was majorly good for all of us. Maybe not for you specifically, your race, but rest of the world it was pretty good in past 2 decades. Then also I never had this desire. So your fun or field day which you guys are having by seeing all the Asians, especially East Asians and South Asians, when they are figuring out that they are not white and not even white adjacent, whatever field day you guys are having and the enjoyment you are having to see all these people go through this FAFO moment, which is F around and find out and getting their karma. Honestly, I am somewhere or the other on the same page as you guys, because even I am enjoying it. Somewhere or the other, I couldn't pinpoint the specific things, but somewhere or the other, I was never ever okay with some level of arrogance which these people, not just people from my country, but all the immigrants who are working with you within your systems, that arrogance I was never okay with. I always had this issue. I am an IT engineer myself who is working in Indian company within India. So I always had this issue that why not just us Indians, all of us Asians, or maybe all of us immigrants who are working for all these American corporations, why we have these dual personalities in front of these supposedly American folks, not just white folks. Of course, in front of whites, many of us tend to maybe people please a lot, but when it comes to you also, if you're thinking you are not well respected enough, no. If we don't see you specifically black, white, or green, purple, yellow, we see all of you as Americans, and specifically Indians, and not just Indians, entire South Asia see you as Amriki, which is you can say South Asian version of you telling that you guys are Americans. So yeah, I had this issue that why you're being rude and obnoxious to your own race, your own continent people, your own you can say country people in front of all these foreigner folks. Why you have to do it? I always had the issue, and I always had faced so many problems, and I always felt that something is weird, things will crumble down. But considering what has happened around US H1B visa immigration, and around which you guys are thinking that okay, these bloody Indians are now getting impacted, now they would know that all these superiority complex they had against us. So let me clear a few things around that. If you're thinking that all the people who are actually impacted by these H1B visa changes, these people were the ones who had real hate, or you can say superiority complex you felt from Indians. No, these are not the people. Those people whose parents and grandparents maybe immigrated in 70s and 80s are the ones whose kids are now citizen, and by default these people who actually applied for proper visas and have got their PR and citizenship after 10-15 years, and now they have given birth to the babies in your American land, and by default these kids have become citizens with whom in your schools you grew up with. These people had this sense of arrogance or superiority in them, and it's still there, because right now the problem is not coming on the citizens who are from the outside world. You know why? Because when it comes to citizenship, Indians always had to pay a lot, had to wait a lot to get a proper citizenship as per law in your country. All these Pakis, Bangladeshis, Nepalis in South Asia always had much easier time in comparison to us Indians. from past 5 to 10 years post the IT development or else the exchange of brain which happened due to IT sector and the healthcare sector, that is where we started getting some level of help and flexibility. So if you're thinking that us Indians were always getting all the benefits, no, not like that. It's just that many a times, since many of us South Asians look the same, so you guys feel that all of us are Indian. No, it's not the case. There are Sri Lankans, Nepalis, Bangladeshis, Indians, Afghanistanis, so many other are there. Just like the way you assume that all the people are Chinese, but now you know there are Japanese, Koreans, Thailand people, or you can say Singaporean, and so many other country folks are there from the East Asian and South Asian part of the continent Asia, but they are not Chinese. But in the past, you all thought that everyone is Chinese because they look the same, right? So that has happened, and along with that, so I made you figure out that who all might have voted these MAGA folks or MAGA leaders into the power were those Indians. If we have to single out the Indians, from Indians, and not just Indians, actually all the Asians, which includes Chinese, Japanese, Indians, and so many other races who are from our continent Asia, all the MAGAs are the ones who have got the citizenship rights. They all had not, they did not had hate towards you specifically. They do not like their own. They have superiority complex, or maybe they had, many of them had superiority complex amongst themselves. So all these people who have got citizenship in your country are the ones who are the real voters, out of which they never liked that how come we had to wait so much, we had to pay a lot, we had to suffer a lot, and then we got the citizenship. And now these people are coming on H1B visas, and they're almost like all of us, even though they are not having all the healthcare rights or voting rights in your country, but somewhere or the other back home it is looking like, okay, these two are settled in that country, but here we are, we had to suffer for 3 generations to get the citizenship and the same rights these folks from my own country are enjoying on the H1B visas. So that is the superiority complex which is present not just in Indians, but in Pakistanis, in Nepalis, in Bangladeshis, in Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, South Koreans, and other Western nations also. That is what, and Mexicans also. All these Latin American people had the same feeling. They hated the immigrants who were on H1B visas, seeming like in the back, people who are left behind in back home. To them, the perception it was that, okay, all these are equal. But somewhere or the other, they wanted to show the rest of the world, no, we are bloody citizens and you were on visas. So we will vote someone fucked up into the power who will not even care about the people and their existence of their own country, because the amount of tariffs this dumb-ass government has put up will actually be hurting your pockets, your situation, your job markets more than any of us. Even though we are third world country, but you will feel more pain, much worse pain than any of the third world country would. You know why? Because as you guys mentioned, we are underdeveloped third world country, right? So we are used to of challenging situations and how to live and happily live in it. But you guys, on the other hand, in comparison to the rest of the world, have always had easy. Believe me, you had much easier in life. And now these situations will go worse, up to not just to the level of third world country, but maybe worse than that. So you will feel the impact more. So they voted these people into the power. Not just Indian Americans or Indians. Mexican did it, South Koreans did it, Japanese did it, Chinese did it, Nepali, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankans, Afghanis, Iranis, all the people who are the byproducts of immigrants who are citizens right now, they are the ones who voted these right-wing bullshitters into the power. So you laughing at all these H1B visa holders is actually not as justified as you might think it to be. Even I was having a field day. Oh, enjoyed that American ride where you felt so privileged enough that, okay, you're working in America. Of course, I'm also enjoying that. But somewhere or the other, our enjoyment, or you can say the laugh, is misguided. Oh, that's what I feel. And the second thing is, it's not just about immigrants. Actually, they first started with replacing all the people who were just dependent on the paperwork in the corporations, who were doing paperwork. But these folks were replaced by all those folks who were ready and willing to upskill themselves, minusing their family hours and putting in these skills which will help them survive in the industry and make the entire system dependent on these, you can say, new softwares and new hardwares which were coming into the corporations, right? And then once this phase happened, everyone got addicted and everyone started using computers. Then all these phones and all the technological development which were done by IT industry and its expansion, then they started making us dependent on it. Like they made us believe that, okay, these new systems are actually for your own help. they will help you get things on time. We are not just removing jobs, we're just replacing. The nature of it will change. If you will upskill, you will be good to go and there won't be any problem. So we were on board with it. Not just we, actually you were the first people who were on board with it, because most of the technological advancement actually was triggered and started in Western nations and specifically your country. So you were the ones who started believing it first, and then they realized, okay, now everyone got used to of these systems, these machines who somewhere or the other have reduced the human work. Now let's brainwash all these American people into thinking, and let's start with all the races whom we covertly hate or covertly dislike. Let's start with them and let's move up to the ladder and reach till the point where within our own colorless race, the people whom we think are economically less than us, we will go up to them and make them realize that, okay, there is someone else in third world country, or maybe anyone in the other continent. Because for work, many of the Australians and Europeans are also in the tech industry who are working in your country. It's not just about all the third world country immigrants. There are so many Europeans who are working with you. There are so many Africans who are working with you. And mind you, Africa is not as poor as you think and assume it to be. They are quite well flourished, and people from Australia also have migrated to your country. But these corporations who actually powered and gave money to all the government folks who could have realized this pattern happening, where somewhere or the other you guys are again being made believe that you guys for the same job are much more expensive, and there is some other guy as your replacement who is not only technically advanced than you but doing the work at cheaper price. They started making you believe first, and then all these governments which you guys, including all other races in that region, voted into power and let them do for all these things for so long. Yes, you along with because I'm not an American, so I do not have voting rights, and I believe those H1B Visa holders also do not have those voting rights. You guys are citizens, so you allowed these things to happen. And then now if you're thinking just because H1B visa thing is happening, and that is why these Indian techies will pay the price. Not just Indian, Chinese are the second ones who are immigrants working on the cheaper prices, as you say, taking up your jobs. But the real idea here is all these evil forces, which are the corporations and the government, which is being in power in your country. Their idea is not to give you the jobs or maybe give you all the benefits. It's not about that. They're painting it as if, and the first people who are believing are within their own race, colorless race, but maybe on the lower economic order. Only these people are buying this. Maybe some of y'all are buying it because you believe, since you have built that country, so and you know their tactics, so you will be able to fight them off. But in my personal opinion, it's not just about your H1B visa. Trump has actually accelerated the replacement or else the unemployment for all the entire human race. Within 5 years, they are anyways planning to remove human race from corporations, from organizations in general. There is some evil plan behind it. That is why the development of OpenAI, or you can say these corporations, not just this particular company, all the companies who are actually working on the automation or else robotics, or you can say generative AI thing, including your government, none of them are regulating it. And we know, as an engineer, as a techie, I know they are trying to build a human brain. And we humans, as we all know, are quite capable of doing horrible things to fellow humans. And there are laws to regulate that, but these laws also fail to eradicate the human, you can say, crime on other humans. Imagine they are trying to develop a machine which will not have the human fatigue. Not only it will not have the human fatigue, it will not have human conscience at all. What if all these corporations triggered an event where the entire race gets into a trouble? And if everyone will be replaced in these organizations, imagine only few people might have that high enough IQ, despite being interested in these AI topics, to really be prompt engineers to train these robots. Rest of us are either not interested, or even if we get interested in you can say IT or robotics, we are not capable enough to get those limited jobs. So at the end of the day, it's not about throwing out the immigrants. It's actually about replacing all of us from bots, so that they can maximize as many profits as possible. So if you're thinking you're having a field day and you will get the jobs, or maybe these people are having FAFO moment and you right now you're enjoying it, I am actually, when I am analyzing the situation more and more, I'm getting worried, because the thing which could have triggered in next 5 years and might have given all of us as a human race some chance to maybe upskill ourselves and regulate our these companies and protest in front of our governments to regulate these companies and make sure these bots are not replacing human but rather helping human. We could have done that within 5 years or so, but these H1B immigration process and all these changes which are happening right now have been triggered in such a wrong way that the thing which was to happen 5 years down the line, it is going to happen within 1 year or so. And if anyone who is thinking that they will be safe, no, you won't be safe. You won't be safe at all, because all of us are replacement so that they can make more and more profits and benefit. Some are being wiped off from the world in the name of war, some are being wiped off in the name of immigration, and some are going to be wiped off in the name of being laid off because there is some bot who is without fatigue doing much better than all of us. From where we will get the money to buy our groceries or anything possible? And whatever happens in your country, it actually somewhere or the other trickles down to rest of the world. Have you thought about regulating all these corporations? No, I don't think so. These corporations, why they are now okay with these prices and not fighting back your fucked up president? Because they are seeing a future where they don't even need the human resource. It's not just about an immigrant working in your country. It's about replacing all of y'all, whom so many of the white supremacists, these colorless people who are thinking that they are at the top of the world, want to replace. So this is the biggest problem which I am seeing as a human, not just Indian or South Asian. So that's what I'm gonna tell you, that it is gonna trickle down to you guys ultimately. For sure, because that is gonna happen. Because for us immigrants, laugh as much as you wanna laugh, if you wanna laugh. At least by the end of the day, we still have the option to take random flights, high-priced flights, and move back to our own nations. Maybe the facilities won't be as good as they used to be, but still, somewhere or the other, we do have corporations who are multifaceted, and we will somewhere or the other try to absorb our engineers into our workforce. And we anyways are functioning on high amount of population and limited resources. So of course troublesome time will be there for us, but considering we have survived for thousands of years, not just us, Chinese also, and all the Asian countries also, and Middle East is also actually, by the way, West Asia. So all of us have survived despite everything possible. And same goes for African people who are from the continent Africa. The people of African continent and Asian continent, however much you think that we are wrong or bad, or we have some superiority complex or so, it's not about you. It's actually within our own, you can say, existence, that somewhere or the other we are competing with each other and we want to look better than the rest of us in the society. A constant competition is there. But the plus side of being from these two continents, and being Asians or Africans, is we are very resilient people. And if times dictate, we have the habit of functioning on high, you can say, abundant resources and lack of resources also. We are sorted. Even if it looks like we won't be, we are actually sorted. You know why? Because, okay, let me believe, okay, all these IT engineers might be having problems, but let me tell you, all the IT engineers from, not just from India, China, Philippines, you can say all the African nations and other nations who immigrated to your country, we are not just IT or computer science engineers. So many of us amongst us are actually engineers for mechanical, civil, architectural engineering, agricultural engineering, and other things. But because the IT was booming, so all these IT folks took all of us in. So these people whose core engineering was in other departments, they can apply to all their core companies which exist in India, which are not actually dependent on your existence. And rest of the IT folks can be, for now, it will be competitive, and jobs might be a little less, or competition will be higher within in India. But somewhere or the other, rest of the people whose specialization was in IT or computer science can be absorbed by other Indian companies who are residing in India. That can happen, and we will make the adjustment. And rest of us who are maybe younger in age, maybe start applying to the government jobs. And in replacement, if you're thinking, if you won't give the jobs, then rest of the world won't. China might come into the power. We might go to other Southeast Asian or Asian nations. They are welcoming enough, and maybe many of us, including me, might decide to start manufacturing for our own country within our own country. We have done it, and if nothing is possible, many of us do have agricultural lands. Maybe with like little less means, we will be able to survive. But when it comes to you guys, can you imagine tariffs which your president has imposed? It will fall on you if you're thinking that rest of the world to survive in your market. will pay these extra hefty prices. No, that's not going to happen. For time being, we are going to charge all the importers in your country more. So at the end of the day, you will be buying things at higher prices in the name of tariff, and all these jobs which are left behind. There are so many dependencies. If you're thinking that we haven't made, all the Chinese and Indian people and all the Asians in general have created some dependency or the other where only they can solve the problem. So at the end of the day, these companies will reach out to us and might tell us to maybe work from our homes in India. But if you're thinking that all these jobs will be completely vacant, that's not going to happen. Second thing. And third thing, which is might happen is that, okay, you also have heard about the ICE raid on Hyundai, right? That within that Hyundai plant, even though you have good relationships with South Korea, not just economically, but on the basis of military also, so much so that your country has a base in their country. One superiorist person called a ICE raid on them, on the engineers who are highly skilled and technical. They were setting up a Hyundai plant for you guys, and they were setting it because all the systems were in Korean. And now these people felt disrespected because to Asians, if you are handcuffing them, it's not tolerable at all. We Asians do not like that. It's not just about my country people. Entire Asia do not like that. Maybe you guys in general, as Americans, I'm not saying your race, in general are used to of this jail culture. We are not. We are not, because it's not as prevalent in our countries. It's good or bad, I'm not commenting on that. I am talking about the prevalence of this act. So those South Koreans are pissed off from you, and they actually are contemplating whether or not they have to expand in your country or not, because your country's president few weeks ago was literally begging the president of these countries to invest in your country and set up a plan for which these South Korean engineers were there to set up. And in between, one of your American did this fucked up thing, which is going to trickle down on the government level. The same way, all the people you are thinking that they haven't created any dependencies. One thing, we legally, and not saying illegally, legally we can create a situation where the dependencies might be created, where you might have to, not specifically you people, but your government has to bow down. If not, IT healthcare is getting impacted, because on the H1B visas, you anyways know about the situation of your healthcare system when it comes to small towns and cities. What I have heard about, and the companies I've worked for as an engineer for healthcare domain, which are functioning in your country, I've realized there are so many people who are nurses, technicians, medical technicians, and specifically doctors, more specifically surgeons, were on H1B visa and working for your people. And despite them working there, you have so much shortage and you have such a wait time to get tested for small things. Imagine these people coming back to their countries where for them to set up a clinic is not a big thing, at all, I'm telling you. And you guys struggling. So if not through IT, through healthcare, you guys will be suffering. So all that laughs around FAFO and all that, and you guys thinking now they are getting their karma, that's all misguided. Because I understand, I totally have sympathy. Even I had frustration around those people who had the superiority as Asians, not just Indians. All the Asians who are citizens in your country had the superiorities. Not all of them, but many of them. But you can say, laughing at is actually little misguided. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And it is going to trickle down very poorly. And imagine, this government in 6 months has managed to do such a thing single-handedly, which no one could have ever imagined. Imagine all the Middle Easterners who are actually West Asians, who are the all 57 Muslim nations, finally they are getting united against one country whom you like to support. They are not asking for the support. That particular country is very strong enough to manage things on their own. But somewhere or the other, your ordnance and your gun production companies are dependent on them paying you and buying your arms and ammunition, which are benefiting the people in your government, powerful positions in your country. They are capable of handling all their issues on their own because they ethnically know the land and everything. But still, you guys choose to put foot on the ground. Now you are trying to re-enter Afghanistan, where you have badly lost it, and then you are helping a Middle Eastern country which is having issues with so many other countries. And you have the person who has been voted into power has single-handedly made all these Arab nations come together, who are actually very divided. If you're thinking there is Arab unity, no, there's not. There's also that economic divide is going on, that okay, we are Arabs, but these are lower Arabs and these are better Arabs, depending on how much money they hold. But because of these issues, you're uniting them. That will be a problem for you guys, not for all of us. not for rest of us, because we can start minding our own business and start doing our own things. You can keep on fighting and wasting your own hard-earned money which you pay into taxes and wasting on someone else's land and their issues. So that's what you're doing, and you are harboring a lot of hate and you can say curses toward yourself and your existence. So that's not a good thing to happen, and you should do something about it. Take some action. You are a democracy. Maybe there must be some provision to maybe not stop but at least limit all these stupid changes which are being taken without even thinking and rolling it out without even informing people to get ready. I'm not saying that in your country, if you're making any changes in the immigration laws or visa laws, that's a bad thing. No, you as a country, that's your right. If you think that's important for your survival, you can do it, but at least do it in a justified legal way. That's what not is happening. And us, all those who knew that all these fucked up things gonna happen, if these kind of people come into power, us laughing at those people who are actually not at that much fault as we think they were, is the problematic part I wanted to discuss and share. Not pinpoint, not trigger you, not blame you, nothing like that. If I'm saying you, I'm not talking to you as a race in general, but many a times I'm saying it because I see you as an American in general, not just someone from particular race. But these FAFO laugh out moments are not as kind, right? Because the karma functions in cycle. Previously they were laughing at you, now you are laughing at them, and if you will continue laughing at them, now there will be time in another 5 years or 10 years they will start laughing at you. No one is getting benefited. This is the time for us to realize that these illusions are going away, and we need to do something good about it, and maybe unite ourselves against these people who harbor so much disliking for other people who are not like them for unnecessary reasons, no reasons at all. So that's what I wanted to tell you. And if at all I'm missing any points, please do let me know, and please do educate me, because I am telling you, I have got a lived experience of living in a culturally diverse or religiously diverse country, but never the racially diverse country. So some things might not be correct and some things I might not be aware about, but tourism is going to go down, because when it comes to hardworking workers in your country, if they're going to face the problem, the people who are actually trying to follow the laws within your country are going to face the problem. Because as long as all these illegal ones were getting thrown out, honestly, as an Indian, I felt that you did a justified job, because we too have this problem of illegal immigrants coming into our boundaries. Like all the Bangladeshis and Pakistanis many a times try to infiltrate our country and create problem by illegally entering in my country. So that is a genuine problem. So if you're taking actions against those people, regardless of their country and their race, I never had any issue. But when people who are working properly, coming as per the law, if they are going to face problem for work, if they're going to face problem, tourists are not going to come, because you never know how you're going to act and react, what's going to happen, how things will go down. So people are going to get skeptical about entering your country. So that is again going to impact your tourism industry, because people have started finding alternatives, finding alternatives, if not about immigration, but the kind of wars you guys are constantly getting yourself involved in, and how unsafe you guys have made your country in general. Like that situation where Pipu happened, that was scary. I don't care what's the race of that person. In general, these laws are very, very dangerous. You think my country is very, very bad and we're very have superiority complex, but we come from a shithole country. Even in my shithole country, when I am, or maybe someone else, I don't have kids, but somewhere or the other, if anyone is sending their kids to the school, we do have a guarantee that they will come back home alive, not pupute. Okay, that is a problematic thing. And these things are rising up, and the kind of divide rest of the world is seeing amongst you people who are actually the part of that country, citizen-wise, whatever you want to call it. That divide and the hatred and the blatant murdering, and you can say doing bad things or inhuman things to each other, that's not a good look on you guys. And telling you, dollar might plummet, de-dollarization might happen, which has already been planned simply because of these bully behavior, not just by this government, but previous government also. We are done with bullies. Rest of the world is done with bullies. Now it's not the time that you can people put into their places and just completely obliterate or destroy all the countries or the entire continent altogether. People have options, people have ways to survive. So somewhere or the other, no doubt you guys are having a field day. Even I'm enjoying some of the points of my being correct and theirs being wrong. Things are not moving in a good direction overall for the rest of the world, not just your country. So that's what I wanted to say to you guys. Moving on to all my immigrants who are struggling in this situation. So let me talk to you now. My immigrant friends, specifically, not just Indian immigrants, all the immigrants who are impacted by this H1B visa changes. I'm damn sure so many people who are MAGA and who are not MAGA but who are actually enjoying this field day moment of FAFO, which all the immigrants are facing right now because of H1B visa changes. Don't get worried about them. Don't feel disheartened. I know almost 70 to 80% who immigrants who are impacted are from my own country, my own fellow people. But rest of the people, Chinese are there, Filipinos are there, Americans, like other countries are also there. Even some of the South Koreans are also impacted due to Hyundai and all. And if you're thinking Japanese people will be left behind, you already have a history with these Westerners, as you know. So all I have to say to you guys is, first of all, stop panicking. Do not panic. I understand the situation is problematic, and right now at your pain, there are so many people who were maybe on your side, maybe tried to explain you, don't do this, but still you didn't listen. Or maybe in general, they had some inbuilt hate in them, but they always justified under the cover of, no, you have the supremacy, you have the hate. So if they're laughing at you right now, it's okay, let them. The karma will teach them the lesson. Time is not linear, it's cyclical, so it will the power will come back to us, all of us immigrants, not just my fellow Indians. So please, first of all, relax. And the second thing is, I understand so many of our countries of course had the issues. That is why we made a decision. Some of us made the decision to work in these fellow other countries from where you have to come back now, but don't worry, come back to your homes. You have your agricultural lands, you have your core degrees, you have your ingrown ITs, and you have your own technical brain. If not anything, you have your chai sutta points. Now you will get some work or the other. Even if you don't, you might have made some savings that would be enough for you to invest well and maybe start something or retire soon. So things will happen for you, everything will be all right. And yeah, this purging is going on, this frustrating situation is going on where specifically you guys don't know how the future is going to look like. Few years ago you thought everything is sorted, now you have to start, some of y'all have to start fresh, and maybe some of y'all might have to start from maybe at a lesser level, not fresh but at a lesser level. That's not a concern. We can manage things, we can get through this. It's just that instead of us fighting with each other, laughing at each other, I have realized now that we should try to settle this situation and urge our governments and the corporations to diversify themselves, especially if we are in the IT. We need to diversify our clients. We need to not just be dependent on West only, and specifically this one particular country only. Let's try and diversify our clients and try to have much more work, offer them much more cheaper prices. Now you can settle down here, and cost of living can be reduced for some time until all of us afloat and the situation balances out, and we can offer much cheaper prices. It's okay. They had this problem, right, that you are not smart enough. It's just that you're cheaper. That is why this is you thought that you replaced us, but you bitches are not that smart enough. Offer much cheaper prices, much cheaper prices. If you have to maybe break even or suffer some of the losses, the time requires us to somewhere or the other make them realize it's not just about cheaper prices. We do have talent, and a lot of brain drain was happening from entire continent of Asia. Let's bring our brains back and let's unite and integrate amongst ourselves as Asians, because culturally we are much more closer, and try to solve each other's problem. No problem. Southeast Asia and East Asia can be a good market for us, South Asians and West Asians. Interchangeably, we can manage our new contracts and clients. And some of us, if we can transition into other parallel, you can say, industries we always dreamt about, but somewhere or the other, because of this drug called salary, which we used to get in the IIT, we never took that chance on the passion. Take it, no problem. Everything will get all right. It's okay. Everything will get all right. Don't be worried. Don't panic. Things will get all right. Something or the other will come out to be great, and let people laugh. Let them believe whatever they want to believe, because I do believe and understand that so many of y'all never had the superiority complex. It's just that Asian competitiveness which have been ingrained in us, in our culture, that is what was at work, and because of that they got the perception that we were thinking they were less than us, but we were not at all bothered. We were actually competing amongst ourselves, because that's how Asian societies function. And us doing better than others, or projecting that we are doing better than others, is one common Asian behavior. I know is very toxic, very painful to observe and go through, but is common amongst ourselves. I know, I do believe in that. And all these people who are from our races, who voted these MAGAs into power in that country and made us suffer, don't worry. Those people are actually trying to hurt themselves and shooting in their foot. So don't worry, they will soon realize that they made a huge mistake, and by the time they realize, we will have figured out some alternate option, or at least we will be in the process of doing it. And once we start the process of getting the alternate options, of course, then we can make a decision whether or not we have to forgive them, or maybe give them a second chance. So we can do that, but for now, don't get worried, relax and come back. It's okay. Our countries within our continent Asia might not be that great as these continents and these countries project you to be, but it's not as bad. At the end of the day, it's your own land. Within your own land, no one can tell you a shit about anything. A shit about anything. You can do whatever you want in your own land amongst your own people. You can enjoy your own culture, enjoy your vacation, maybe start following your passion. Since you guys have moved out of these countries from past several decade or few years, during this time also within our own Asian cultures, a lot of changes and openness have come in. A lot of liberal values have come in. At the end of the day, if you do not have your own autonomy in your own land and your own investments, what's the point? You have invested so much into your economy, but it took them few decisions to jeopardize all that you have done for them, all that what you have done for them. But in your own country, within your own land, the kind of security you have, you will never get anywhere else. So it's okay if the time dictates for you to come back and maybe for some time, maybe struggle a little or maybe work harder. Let's do it. Let's do it. All of us Asians, not just my country people, all of us Asians, Chinese, go back to your China. Japanese, Koreans, go back. Go back to your own countries. And Indians, come back, no problem. Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, come back. All the West Asian people who literally had to flee their lands because these people were literally bombing your lands and putting you in the wars. And now they're telling that, okay, you have infiltrated their land, destroyed their culture. It's okay, come back. Even in those shambled buildings, it will be your own land. Otherwise, you will be like a dog who is of nowhere. Meaning you will be almost like a dog of a laundryman person where the laundromat is not yours and even your home is not yours. Don't get into that situation. Come back, it's okay, we'll manage something, we'll do something about it. Let's start. If time is pushing us, let's try and follow our passions, whatever it is, whatever it used to be. Things will get all right. It's okay, no matter what is happening. And from this, get a lesson. Us comes first. From whatever country within our continent you are from, your own country people comes first. Then the second priority should be your neighborhood, and then the final priority should be our entire continent. This should be the order. These three come first. Unite yourselves and don't get into this skin color banter. Don't get into this. There's no point. All of us are equally made in the eyes of God. It's just that we have to be a little more nationalistic and a little more continent specific in this time around, because there was a transition period. There was a time when globalization was at the peak. Now it's at decline. Now localization will come again. So this swing keeps on swinging all the time. Localization, globalization. If you go back in time, there you will find periods in the history where for a few decades globalization was at peak, and then it got into decline, and then localization came up, and then again globalization happened. So you cannot get stuck into all these matters and feel as if you are not incompetent. You are incompetent. No, you are equally competent. You're good enough. It's okay. You can still stand on your 2 feet. Time is not running out. People will help you. And let's try and understand. Let's help our people more. And let's have empathy more. And if we anyways have to people please, let's people please our country folks and our continent folks first. And our people first. And don't do it on the basis of race. Please remove race altogether. The racism is making that entire part of the world decline simply because of racism and the religious divide. Don't get into all this. But if we anyways have to people please, let's start people pleasing our own folks first, and specifically our own continent people first, our own industry people first, and then maybe we can expand as per how time allows and whatever profitability we might one day get again once we do the break even. And yeah, think about it. Don't get disheartened. It's okay, come back, no problem, we'll manage things. And there are so many other nations who will open the gates for all of us talented, and this time around it won't be for the cheaper labor, it will be for the equal footing, because not everyone is agreeing to what that country has to say. There are so many countries who know the dual face of that country and the dual face of the citizen of those country, regardless of their races. And we are waking up, and it's good. It's good no matter what happened. Everything happens in this world for the good and the betterment of yours, and for you to be on the right track. So it happened for good. The delusions which all of us Asians specifically were having about race and how those countries and that part of the world functions, I'm glad that they are blown away. Blown away. And now we are realizing that we have a chance. There is a silver lining in these problematic times, that we do have a chance to unite ourselves, not on the basis of religion, not on the basis of race, but on the basis of our attachment towards our shared Asian culture and our continent identity and our individual country identity, nationalism, which always works out in the country's favor. And rather, I believe that's a good thing to happen. If some of the Americans genuinely believe that whatever they are doing right now is nationalistic, I do respect their sentiments also, because illegally someone entering anyone's country is not a good thing. But in the name of that, what they are doing right now is not great. Let's not get into all that. Let's be better than them. And it is high time that at least we Asians realize that we need to unite ourselves, and we have a hefty load of talent. This continent, Asia, is full of artistic, cultural, technical, and educational talent. So many oldest of the old civilization is not in other continent except Africa, not in other continents whom we thought we depended on. It's amongst us Asian countries. It's in our continent Asia, and some of it is in Africa. Rest of the people are not that old. They do not have that cultural advantage. They do not have that tenacity. They do not have that resilience to go through so many problematic things on the human level and still rise up and still do better. So much so that you surpass these people who actually tried to not only misguide you, blame you, harass you, literally brainwash you or make you delusional. So we do have the potential. So don't worry, come back. There are so many things which can be done. So let's do it. And let's focus on doing that instead of us getting worried. And rest of y'all who think that you are at better position in comparison to anyone else, it's okay. To you also, I'm telling you, relax and do not panic. Read all the documents, discuss with your companies, because many of these companies are still on, might be still on your side, considering they might be waiting for next of the 3 years to go away. And yeah, so talk to them, no problem. And if you think, no, you have to come back, no problem. We'll adjust somewhere or the other. If not, who knows, within few months you might be off to some other country for the same work, for better pay and better respect within our continent, or maybe some other continent. It's okay. We are not dependent on one country, and we should not. And that this is the high time the God made us believe. Why are you depending on one country? Why? You should not, and we would not. This IT folks who were telling us that we should work 70 hours work week to compete with China. To that specific person, I have final question in this video. What exactly you have done in your own 70-hour work week, which you are lecturing us to do, despite us or anyways unofficially doing close to 50 to 60 hours per week? What you have done in that time? Because my sir, even your competitors have other industries in which at least the core engineers can be absorbed, and rest of the CS and IT can be absorbed in other countries. But you, my friend, who is IT giant only, and your entire base is actually dependent on that country, what exactly you have done for not industry, your own country and your own employees in those 70 hours work week, to diversify the client, so that if one client or one region goes away blatantly, to remain and retain these employees who have given their lives for your company's growth. What have you done, my friend? You, sir, what exactly you have done in your 70-hour work week? I'm damn sure you have done none. Lecturing, once you have got retirement, when the economy was right, things were peaking, to the folks who are actually struggling in the industry, not only because of AI, but because of poor economy, the world being into a war, recession happening, us getting hit by COVID 5 years ago. To us, you had the audacity to lecture. So I'm closing off with this question to that particular person and the people who were supporting him in this bullshit few months ago. What have you done in your 70-hour work week, and the trouble we might face because of some other countries' problematic behavior? What exactly the solutions you have right now? Because the rest of the industries, even though they were hit by so many inhuman tariffs, they still have alternatives. Right now, their assembly lines might be impacted. Sales are not much, margins are little low, but at least they are functional. They will survive, and they have alternatives, and the routing can be done. Manufacturing has done it, and within manufacturing, so many other domains have done it. But you, my friend, for your own organization itself, what exactly you have done to diversify the clients from different regions? I don't think so you have done anything. So you have no right, or you never had the right to lecture us, and now God has proven why. Okay, I hope my Asian friends who all were listening to me on this matter, specifically for my country, have got the message, and you will be on this channel for this beautiful journey of uniting all us Asians and integrating us on the basis of our similarity. And I will be back with some other new topic which is pressing for all of us Asians. And in any case possible, if the people of other continent are feeling bad about it, then I'm sorry. My intention was not to hurt you. But if you think that you do agree with my points, please do let me know. All of you all, please do let me know what's wrong, what's right, so that I can improve in my next videos and educate myself along with you guys. Okay, bye.